Breaking today, King Charles makes a monumental mistake by giving Prince Harry the audience with Meghan, Archie, and Lily that they have been so desperate for, but not all is as it seems. And by the way, if anyone thinks that this man is the future of the British royal family, as he goes from his meeting with the king to doing goat yoga and making crap jokes and boasting about the fact that he still thinks he's the Duke of Sussex on an awful new podcast. If anyone thinks that is the future, with Meghan and the kids shrouded in secrecy, let me tell you they are wrong. Because this weekend, we saw in the most perfectly illustrated manner why it's William and Catherine and their children, especially George and Charlotte, who are the real future of the British monarchy, as the couple showed their love at the polo, and then the family put on an amazing performance at Wimbledon. So this is what happened just after we went off air on Friday night UK time.
Let's bring you some other breaking news now. It's understood the King and Queen have hosted the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet at Highgrove House today. Before today, the Duke of Sussex had only seen his father once in the last 2.5 years. The King and Queen hosted them at Highgrove in Gloucestershire. It had been unclear if Meghan and the children would join Harry on his visit to the UK.
And that is the reason why Prince Harry was like the cat who got the cream on this awful new podcast with Joe Marler.
Full name?
Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex.
It's a long one.
Yeah. All right, Jake.
Now, of course, this isn't a man who should be laughing along with anyone. He has just been completely shamed and exposed as a liar by a top British judge, who he then accused of being part of some type of conspiracy, meaning that even the establishment Times newspaper is calling for him to be stripped of his role as a counsellor of state. But Harry, I believe, is now a 42-year-old embarrassment. I mean, making jokes about your private bits, do we really need to go there? Or as that one put it, pretending to have balls.
Okay, everybody can sit down now.
No, mate, we just look at you. We look at you now and we cringe. We cringe hard.
It's a totally normal thing to be doing.
So this is our goat yoga practice,
I can tell. Yeah.
where we are essentially trying to channel the energy of the goat and envisage the mountains yourself. I want us to look at a goat and say, "Thank you, goat," and come seated. Does anybody here know any fun facts about goats? Close as you can into the eyes of the goats around you.
Maybe a few years ago we would have thought that type of shtick was cute, but now we see Harry for what he really is. But as I say, there are a lot of people saying that this meeting isn't disastrous because in some ways it was Prince Harry and Meghan Markle having to kiss the ring. I mean, look at this picture tracked down from Prince William's jaw. I did quite like that because, of course, there would have been a part of Camilla who was there to listen in, to make sure no lies were told, and to make it clear whose terrain these two were now on. So, a huge amount going on. Let's team up now with Brittany, who is editor of the Royal News Network. So, Brittany, you can look at this meeting and say, well, Meghan maybe didn't get everything. But I'm going to be honest with you, Brittany, I still have massive concerns because remember, this is a long-term project that Harry is working towards. And this is the one-year countdown to Invictus. And what Harry wants and what Harry believes he has now secured, I hope and pray it doesn't happen, is that King Charles shows up in 1 year's time and probably shows up with Meghan and the 2 children too. And that's when the photo comes. So sure, Meghan didn't get it this time, but they are on the road there.
They definitely are, Dan, because we did get information in the Times that the kids maybe were going to be at some of the public-facing events here. So Harry and Meghan's claims about privacy for their children, of course, we all knew it was complete hogwash, but now we have even more confirmation that Harry and Meghan are fully willing to utilize their children in order to help maintain their public profiles. But this whole thing has been sort of a mess, and it's unclear what anybody in some ways was going to get out of this or what this will look like in the future, because of course we understand that Charles wants to see his grandchildren. Maybe he thinks he wants to have a relationship with his son, but what does this mean for the monarchy? I think that's still a little bit unclear where Harry and Meghan stand, because they're allowed to do this cosplay royal routine with impunity, and it is damaging the monarchy. It's confusing people, and Charles here, I feel like, has added to the confusion by meeting with Harry and Meghan and not making them capitulate to him, especially with a somewhat public apology about their deplorable behavior over the years.
Not even close to an apology, Brittany. I mean, think about what Prince Harry was doing earlier in the week. Slamming Charles's judiciary. He intended to do it from Buckingham Palace. I mean, look, unfortunately, Charles has shown, the king has shown, and I understand what Lady Colin Campbell has said, I understand what Rob Shooter is reporting, but fundamentally, Brittany, this is still a fundamental weakness. I mean, you didn't see the Duke of Windsor and Wallace Simpson returning on the regular to the United Kingdom, and they weren't slagging off the monarchy and suggesting that the monarchy was racist and that the whole thing should potentially be brought down.
Exactly, Dan. There's so much here, and Charles is just so soft on Harry and Meghan. And the thing is, it's clear that the lessons from Andrew have not been learned. The problem with Andrew, in part, was that he was just allowed to do whatever he wanted. There were no consequences. And the monarchy is letting Harry and Meghan do the same thing now. It's like you had decades to see where Andrew ended up, and now you're allowing history to repeat itself. You have clearly learned nothing. And I think that's a horrible image to show as a monarchy, is that you're not learning from your mistakes. We still have no answers as to how a situation like Andrew will be prevented. Again, we need to have a change in letters patent or what have you to ensure that titles can be stripped.
But it's never going to happen under Charles, Brittany. We now know that. It's never going to happen under Charles. So all of this gets pushed to William. Can we just talk? I mean, let's look at Harry at this yoga, right? The guy is literally, I believe, completely delusional now, Brittany, because he thought this photo op and then giving quite an arrogant interview, I thought, to Joe Marler, where he says, oh yeah, I'm Harry, Duke of Sussex. You know, he's really claiming that royal title. But actually, Brittany, I thought the optics for Harry were just awful, really, because he looks a fool now. He looks a fool. It's like, how on earth can you one day be talking about a highly respected judge working for your king, you know, potentially a future Supreme Court judge of the United Kingdom, how one day you can be describing him as being responsible for a whitewash, and then the next day doing goat yoga, prowling around embarrassingly with Alison Hammond on woke ITV, calling yourself the Duke of Sussex in quite, I thought, a rude manner to Joe Marler, although I know Harry will say, well, that's just my sense of humour. How can you go from one to the other and expect people to take you seriously? It's like, Harry, you're a balding 42-year-old man. This shtick ain't working for you anymore.
It's definitely not working for him, Dan, except for a small minority of people. But I mean, the big message here is Harry has no job. This is a 42-year-old unemployed man. He has no job. He's kind of, again, trying to, and if you did this in the normal sphere, in the normal world, if you had quit your job and then are going and pantomiming it somewhere else, you would be considered crazy and unhinged. And so Harry pantomiming being a working royal again just shows a complete lack of self-awareness, a complete and utter delusion. I am shocked that any business or charity wants to associate with him, because this is not a mentally healthy man. Despite his proclamations to the contrary, I think all the whatever he's taken to sort of the hallucinogenics have really messed with his brain that he's taken probably to help him with his mental issues have made them all worse. And so he is just this unemployed, in my personal opinion, loser who's just constantly trying to recapture what he had and not accepting his new life and trying to have a new job. I mean, he did it for a half a second, realized it was hard because, the real world is hard. And it's like, you know what? I'll just go back to this thing where I can do a little bit and look like I'm having fun and not really do anything else. Because Harry, it's just for show. This is just a facade. There's nothing underneath there. There's nothing of depth to this man, and he's just going around and going to anybody who will give him a paycheck, basically.
Brittany, we did get some insight from the Sunday Times and their royal editor, Roy Anika, a senior member of the Royal Rota, in terms of how the palace really felt about Prince Harry's actions earlier in the week.
Few events have changed the modern monarchy more than Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision to step back as senior working royals in 2020. Since then, relationships within the family have been tested by interviews, documentaries, Harry's memoir Spare, and years of public debate. Now, recent reports of a private family meeting have once again captured global attention. According to recent reporting, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were said to have spent private time with King Charles and Queen Camilla during a UK visit. The meeting reportedly took place away from the public eye, with very few official details released. As is often the case with royal family gatherings, Buckingham Palace did not provide a detailed account of what was discussed. That lack of information has naturally led to widespread speculation. Some commentators believe the meeting signals a willingness to rebuild family relationships. Others caution that one private gathering does not necessarily mean years of tension have been resolved. The importance of this meeting goes beyond a single day. For years, Harry has publicly expressed hope for reconciliation with his family. At the same time, the release of Spare and other public projects created deep divisions that cannot easily be repaired. Many royal observers believe rebuilding trust will take time. Whether this reported meeting represents the first step, or simply a private family moment, remains uncertain. King Charles has consistently maintained his constitutional responsibilities while facing significant personal and family challenges. Reports suggest he has remained open to communication with Prince Harry, although details of their private conversations have rarely been made public. As monarch, Charles faces the difficult task of balancing family relationships with institutional responsibilities. That balancing act has become one of the defining themes of his reign. Meghan Markle remains one of the most discussed members of the extended royal family. Supporters view her and Harry as individuals building an independent life focused on family, business, and philanthropy.
So, Brittany, that is an interesting take on Camilla turning up, which did surprise a lot of people. But remember, I have reported in the past, Brittany, and this dates right back to really 2021. Charles and William vowed they would never be alone with Harry. They just couldn't risk being alone with Harry, because what if he came out and said something that was constitutionally significant? So I'm actually going to give Camilla a pass here and say that it's understandable that she would want to be there so that if Harry does make an outrageous allegation in the months or years to come, the royal family could say, well, our recollections vary, and remember, Charles and Camilla were both there.
Yes, this is incredibly important. We know that nobody really wants to be alone with Harry because they don't know what he'll say. He's a loose cannon. But I think the big thing here when it comes to Harry's visit, and this visit in particular with Charles, is that, again, we're getting mixed messages from the palace because, yes, of course, there's this personal dynamic here and this family dynamic, and everybody understands that, and everybody understands maybe to a certain extent the desire to rebuild the relationship. But what about the monarchy itself, the institution, the 1,000-year-old institution Charles is supposed to represent? I feel like that is sort of remains unclear here. Where does Harry stand? Where does Charles see Harry standing? Is Charles interested in allowing Harry to come back in? Is Charles interested in allowing Harry and Meghan to speak for him in some ways? I feel like that remains incredibly unclear at this point. And I think that's a really big danger for the monarchy, because Harry and Meghan, again, can say in some ways whatever they want and can continue to act as if they are still working members of the royal family when they are not, because Harry has said some constitutionally and diplomatically charged statements over even just the last couple of months that could potentially put the monarchy in a tricky situation. So he's continuing to act like a rogue royal. Again, Charles didn't get a huge level of concessions from them for this visit. And so this will embolden Harry and Meghan's worst tendencies. And I think the worst is going to be yet to come from them.
Brittany, we saw the most perfect illustration of what real royalty is over the weekend. And actually, I think William and Catherine won the optics war because Harry just looked like a fool without his wife or his children, whereas William and Catherine looked exactly like the royals we want to see, right? Including a lovely PDA at the polo.
Yes, they are very, very classy and elegant, Catherine and William, and they are examples of what royals are, which is it's different than celebrity. They act in a different way, and the danger always with Harry and Meghan is that they're trying to act like celebrities when they do technically have royal titles, and then people kind of drag the rest of the monarchy down to the celebrity D-list level. But Catherine and William just absolutely shined this weekend with them and their children, and I think they are obviously the future of the monarchy. It is Catherine and William. And unfortunately, they have to deal with this Harry and Meghan freak show. It does sort of drive some of the attention away from them. But Catherine and William, of course, come out on top just in the class game alone. Even if Harry and Meghan steal some headlines, Catherine and William are still a class act. They don't change. They don't try to get down to Harry and Meghan's level. They just continue to do what real royals do and showing everybody how it's done.
And then we had Wimbledon, and we know this is a huge event for Catherine and the family. But what was remarkable is that she received the most spectacular standing O, both on her own on Saturday, then, of course, with the family on Sunday. Have a look at this. On Saturday, there was this great moment as well where, and it's happened a couple of times in the past, and she deals with it very well, but in the silence of centre court, someone yells out, "We love you, Kate!" Look at this. It also looks like, Brittany, George and Charlotte may have a new tennis coach, Arthur Ferry. He is the British #1 who had this spectacular run to the Wimbledon semi-finals. And there was a beautiful moment, actually, where there was this interaction between Catherine and Arthur. You can also hear William at certain points during this video. He's speaking to the ball girls who are just down the line. But it's really lovely, Brittany, because you can see just how nervous George and Charlotte still are as they take these tentative steps into public life. But I think it's really lovely to actually watch the whole dialogue between them all.
Nice to meet you. Hello. How are you? Very nice to see you. Very well, thank you. Yes, this is for you. Oh. Happy birthday. Yeah. This is George, Arthur, and Charlotte.
You're running around with the umbrellas as well. Yeah. Very good job. Keep trying. Yeah, well, I know it's good. No. It's many days.
It's fantastic. It's awesome. Yeah. And great you got the chance to play on the show called Sussexes.
Really, first time since of course.
How is the pressure?
Really special.
Really sort of feel for everyone. It's sort of, first time being out there.
Yeah, a little nervous, definitely. But once I was out there, it was fine. I got some time to to relax and play tennis. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I hear your children play tennis as well. When's
Yeah,
that? Is it?
yeah, they play a little bit, exactly. And yeah, you enjoy it. Love it.
Yeah. That's great. You guys want to hit some balls any time?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that'd be great.
Do you get some downtime now? Have you got?
Yeah. Next week's going to be nice. Just going to go on holiday.
It's been tough for us.
Very nice. Yeah.
There's been no break. Usually,
Yeah.
you get some bit
I
of
know.
a break. With
Only like the sixth time ever. I think. So yeah, you've come a lot this fortnight. Or?
Yeah, I kind of. Yeah, I was about to come last week to see something else. I wanted to play.
Yeah.
Soak up some of the spirit and the environment.
Brittany, it's just lovely, isn't it? The whole event was lovely, and the fact that it culminated on the Sunday with her taking Charlotte and George felt very special.
It really did, Dan. It's always wonderful to see the children. I think Catherine also looked absolutely smashing and just incredibly elegant. And it's just so great to see the kids when they do public facing events. It's just so fun to see them sort of grow up and become more mature and more comfortable in the roles that they will play. And obviously, Catherine and William are spectacular ambassadors for the British monarchy. They are the ones that keep the whole thing steady, really, in so many ways, with the chaos surrounding so much of the British monarchy at this point. They are the steady ship, and I think they will do a fantastic job for the British monarchy in the future. They're teaching their kids how important this work is. And I just think that tennis is such a close sport to Catherine's heart that I think they so enjoy coming out and enjoying the Wimbledon as a family. And hopefully we'll get to see Prince Louis there next year.
Critics argue that their public disclosures have complicated efforts at reconciliation. Whatever perspective people hold, there is no public evidence confirming the private motivations behind any family meeting. Much of what appears in headlines reflects commentary rather than confirmed fact. Another issue drawing attention is Prince William. While reports have focused on Harry and King Charles, there has been little official information regarding William's role in any recent discussions. Given the well-publicized tensions between the brothers, many commentators continue to speculate about whether their relationship can eventually recover. For now, those questions remain unanswered. This story also highlights an important lesson about royal reporting. Verified facts include publicly acknowledged meetings and official announcements. Beyond that, many headlines rely on unnamed sources or expert opinions. That doesn't necessarily make them false, but it does mean they should be treated differently from confirmed information. Separating those two categories helps paint a more accurate picture of what is actually known. Whether this reported meeting marks a turning point or simply a private family reunion, it has once again reminded the world how closely the royal family is watched. Every appearance, every conversation, every report becomes part of a much larger story about family, duty, and the future of the monarchy. Only time will reveal whether reconciliation is possible. Until then, the conversation continues. Now we'd like to hear from you. Do you believe Prince Harry and the royal family are moving closer to reconciliation? Or do you think there is still a long road ahead? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal news, analysis, and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.